The Galactic Council had seen thousands of species rise and fall across the spiral arms of the Milky Way. They had witnessed empires built on technological marvels, armies forged from genetic perfection, and fleets that could blot out stars, but they had never seen anything quite like humanity. Commander Jakar of the Vraxian Dominion stood in the war room of the orbital station, his four eyes narrowing at the holographic display before him. The humans had been invited to join the Council's military coalition 3 cycles ago, a gesture of goodwill toward the young species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel. Now, as the Krell swarm descended upon the Tertian colonies, every species had mobilized their finest warriors. "The human contingent has arrived," announced Sub-Commander Tellus, her crystalline form refracting the dim light of the tactical display. Jakar's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "How many warriors have they sent? 10,000, 20? 57, Commander." The war room fell silent. 57. The Vraxians had deployed 250,000 of their shock troopers. The Hiveborn had sent 500,000 drones. Even the pacifist Luminari had contributed 10,000 of their shield bearers. And the humans, with their billions scattered across dozens of worlds, had sent 57. "This is an insult," growled General Karn of the Hiveborn, his carapace bristling. "The Krell will overrun Tertian Prime within 2 planetary rotations, and the humans send us a symbolic gesture." Before Jakar could respond, the door to the war room opened. A human walked in, wearing a simple uniform with no ceremonial ornamentation. She was small by galactic standards, her frame seemingly fragile compared to the armored bulk of the other species present. Her rank insignia identified her as Colonel Sarah Chen. "Colonel Chen," Jakar said, attempting diplomacy despite his disappointment. "We are honored by Earth's contribution to our cause." "Thank you, Commander," Chen replied, her voice carrying an unsettling calm. "Where do you need us?" General Karn couldn't contain himself. "Where do we need 57 soldiers?" "Nowhere that will matter, human. Perhaps you could guard the supply depot while real warriors fight." Chen's expression didn't change. "Commander Jakar, I've reviewed your battle plans. You're planning a direct assault on the Krell positions on Tertian Prime. Frontal engagement with overwhelming numbers." "It is the way of warfare," Jakar confirmed. "The Krell are savage but predictable. We will crush them with superior force." "That will cost you 2 million lives by my calculations," Chen said flatly. "Give my team 72 hours. We'll clear the infestation with minimal collateral damage." The room erupted in laughter. Even Jakar, who prided himself on diplomatic restraint, felt his mandibles twitch in amusement. 57 humans against an entrenched Krell force of over 3 million. It was absurd. "Colonel," Jakar said gently, "I respect your courage, but 72 hours, Commander. If we fail, proceed with your assault. You lose nothing but time." Something in her eyes made Jakar pause. It wasn't bravado or desperation. It was the cold certainty of someone who had done the mathematics and knew the outcome. "Very well," he agreed. 72 hours. The humans departed without another word. The council members watched on their displays as the 57 soldiers boarded small, unremarkable craft and descended toward Tertian Prime. The Krell controlled everything below the orbital defense perimeter. Those humans were flying straight into a death trap. 48 hours later, Jakar's comm unit chimed. It was Chen. "Commander, you can begin landing your occupation forces. Tertian Prime is secure." Jakar stared at the display. 48 hours. Impossible. "Colonel, we are detecting no change in Krell communication patterns, no retreat signals." "That's because the Krell don't know they've lost yet, Commander. Give it another hour." Jakar ordered reconnaissance drones deployed. What they found defied understanding. The Krell command structure had been surgically dismantled. 17 primary hives had been collapsed from within. Supply lines had been severed at precise choke points. Communication nodes had gone silent. Warrior leaders that the Krell called alphas had simply vanished, and everywhere the drones looked, they found evidence of small unit tactics that shouldn't have been possible against an enemy that fought in the millions. "How?" Jakar finally asked when Chen returned to the orbital station. Not a single human casualty reported. Chen pulled up a holographic file. "Commander, you asked what a human expert army was. Let me explain. On Earth, we learned warfare in the hardest school imaginable, against each other. For thousands of years, we refined the art of killing, of strategy, of psychological operations. Every species in this coalition has known war. But most of you have fought external enemies. We perfected it against ourselves. She expanded the file, showing profiles of her 57 soldiers. This isn't an army, Commander. It's a surgical instrument. That woman there? She's Lieutenant Okafor, a veteran of the Nigerian conflict. She can track a target for weeks through hostile territory and eliminate them without anyone knowing she was there. That man is Sergeant Volkov, trained in psychological operations. He can infiltrate, subvert, and dismantle enemy morale from within. Captain Tanaka is an explosives expert who can bring down a skyscraper with materials you'd find in a kitchen. Jakar's eyes widened as Chen continued. We have linguists who learned Krell pheromone communication in 6 weeks. We have hackers who can break into bioneural networks. We have combat medics who can keep someone alive with duct tape and improvisation. And we have strategists who have studied every war your species has ever fought and learned from your mistakes. She closed the file. You thought we sent 57 soldiers because we didn't take this seriously. Commander, we sent 57 because that's all we needed. In human military doctrine, there's a saying, quality over quantity. We don't win by having more warriors. We win by having better ones. General Karn, who had been silent throughout, finally spoke. You deliberately kept your capabilities hidden. Of course, Chen replied. Because the first rule of warfare is that your enemy should never know your true strength until it's too late to matter. In the months that followed, human special operations teams became the Council's most requested asset. They operated in the shadows, turning tides of battles before conventional forces ever arrived. The galaxy learned that when humans said they'd send an army, they didn't mean numbers. They meant experts, and in the cold calculus of warfare, that made all the difference.